Good morning, this is Rashad Mitchell coming to you live from my YouTube channel. It's a continue on my part series, the professional sports teams that didn't win the championship during that season. This is part 60. Today I'm going to be talking about the 1993 New York Giants. Now, the reason why I want to pick this team because the Giants definitely could have won the Super Bowl that year. Strange it seems because at that time the Giants were going through a crossroads. They won Super Bowl 25 in 1990, but 1991 they were like 8-8. And then 92 they were like 6-10. So they were struggling, you know what I'm saying? They were 6-10 in 1992. 91 they were 8-8, I believe. Yeah, they were 8-8. 8-8, 6-10. Very mediocre. You know what I'm saying? They were combined, do the math, 14-18. Because they won 8 games in 1991, 6 games in 1992, so that's 14 wins. They lost 8 games in 91, lost 10 games in 92, so that they were 14-18. So they were 4 games on the 500. They were going backwards. So 93 comes around, and they get Dan Reeves as new head coach, who had a lot of success with the Denver Broncos, and they released Jeff Hostetler. Phil Simms was a quarterback, which would be his final season at quarterback, in Giants linebacker Lawrence Taylor be his last. And it was the first season of Hall of Fame famer Michael Strahan. Giants had a great season, successful season. They were 11-5. They could have won a division. And it all came down to that last game against the Dallas Cowboys, where the Dallas Cowboys won 16-13 in overtime. One of the great games in the history of pro football in terms of what was on the line. Home field advantage, division, everything was on the line. Everything. Everything. Everything was on the line. And the Giants could have won that game. There's some things that just went wrong that maybe they were too conservative. They could have won that game. Because the Cowboys wasn't as good as it was the previous year. The Cowboys were 0-2 because Emmitt Smith, held out. He wanted a new contract. He came back and they were rolling on, but at the same time they were still beatable. They played great when Emmitt came back. They needed him. But at the same time, I just think that the Giants had a chance to really knock off the Cowboys that last game of the season, and they didn't. Now the Pro Bowls that went to the Pro Bowl was Phil Simms, Jumbo Elliott, Bart Oates, and Rodney Hampton. Phil Simms played all 16 games, 1993 being one of only 7 quarterbacks to do so. The Giants were 11-5. They went to the playoffs despite losing to the Cowboys in that last game of the season. They ended up playing the wild card round, because that's the thing, man. If the Dallas Cowboys would have lost that game, who knows? They probably wouldn't have made it to the playoffs. Man, how great they was. They were very young and talented. Aikman, Irvin, Smith, Dow Johnston, the usual suspects. They were that loaded. I just think that the Giant team had a chance to win it all. So the Giants beat the Minnesota Vikings in the playoffs 17-10. But they got blown out by the 49ers, 44-3. Terrible. That's the terrible way to go out. For Phil Simms and Lawrence Taylor at that time to go out like that, man. That was just horrendous. A way to go out if you're the Giants. So, what made the Giants successful was their offense, because Dan Reeves and offensive coordinator George Henshaw added and adjusted schemes. The emphasis remained running the ball as the full house and power I formations were installed. So Rodney Hampton and Phil Simms both made the Pro Bowl, each driving force behind the offense. The defense returned to its dominant ways, allowing an NFL best 12.8 points per game, or 205 points all year. And the Giants finished the 1993 season first in overall defense and rushing offense. So Giants did their thing. And another thing too, about that Giants team is that the Buffalo Bills actually went to the Super Bowl '93. They were 12-4, but they wasn't as good as they was the first time they went to the Super Bowl or the second time they went to the Super Bowl. Buffalo would go on to win the AFC. The Giants played Buffalo in Buffalo. They only lost by 3 points. That's what I'm talking about. October 3rd, they won 17-14. So it's not like the Giants got blown out. They could have won that game, and they could have won the Super Bowl. Truthfully, they got that home field advantage. No doubt, they definitely would have won the championship. I believe that wholeheartedly. Now, they had a surprising season. I don't think people predicted that the Giants was going to be that good that first year with Dan Reeves as head coach. But they had a chance to do something special, and they didn't do it. Yeah, it just was bad, the Giants. I mean, they got blown out 44-3. They gave up 5 touchdowns to Ricky Waters. Scored an NFL playoff record, 5 touchdowns. Ricky Waters rushed for 118 yards. Caught 5 passes for 46 yards. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. They just couldn't stop Ricky Waters, but they could have won the championship that year. You know what I'm saying? That's all that needs to be said, man. Giants had a chance to win the Super Bowl. And the 49ers, that 49 team wasn't as good as it was in 92 because they were 10-6. Just want to double check because I think the Giants, the 49ers were 10-6 because the Giants had an 11-5 record. 11-5 record. San Francisco had a 10-6 record. But they still had home field advantage. Because one reason only. San Francisco won their division. NFC West. The Giants didn't win their division. They had to be a wild card because they lost that game to the Cowboys, the last game of the season. If they would have won that game, they would have had a home field advantage throughout the whole playoffs. Instead, they had to go play a wild card, go the wild card route. They beat Minnesota 17-10, but they lost 44-3 to San Francisco. And San Francisco wasn't that good, man. They were 10-6. For every reason, they just wasn't as good. But that was a story, man. That was what took place on that day. Lawrence Taylor's final game, Phil Simms' final game. This couldn't stop Ricky Waters. That's the reason why they lost. Because the Giants turned the ball 3 times. It just didn't look good. So that's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, it was a big piggyback on that Cowboy game. Emmitt Smith had by far his greatest game ever played as a Cowboy because he had a separated shoulder in that game, and he ran for 168 yards. far as best game. And they won that game to secure the home field advantage. They had 168 yards rushing. Separate shoulder. So that's all I can say about that, man. It's just that Giant team could have won the championship. They had a chance. It was there for the taking. It's just that they did not capitalize on opportunities that they had in those scenarios to get that win, to be victorious and have that home field advantage. Trying to double check that game against the Giants. They had 229 total yards of offense. They won 16-13. I think he ran for 168 yards. I'm trying to see that. Trying to make sure it be correct. I know it's 168 yards, but that sit ratio against the Giants. Yeah, 168 yards. Sit ratio. Yeah, finished 168 yards. So that's it, man. That's it for the look at part 60. Professional sports teams that didn't win the championship during that season. The 1993. The 1993 New York Giants of 1993. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, do whatever you can, support the channel. This is Rashad Mitchell. Until then, talk to you tomorrow.